What if I told you that the very air you breathe, the water you drink, and the food you eat could be quietly increasing your cancer risk in ways that weren't even possible 50 years ago? The statistics are alarming and the trends are undeniable, but the complete picture of what's driving this surge might shock you. Cancer rates have exploded across the globe, and while we're constantly told about breakthroughs in treatment, very little attention is given to prevention or the environmental factors that might be fueling this epidemic. Today, we're diving deep into the hidden contributors to rising cancer rates that rarely make headlines, but absolutely should. Let's start with some eye-opening numbers. In 1975, the lifetime risk of developing cancer was about 1 in 4. Today, it's approaching 1 in 2. That's not just better detection or people living longer, though those factors play a role. Something fundamental has changed in our environment and lifestyle over the past several decades. The first major factor that deserves our attention is the explosion of synthetic chemicals in our daily lives. Since World War II, over 80,000 new chemical compounds have been introduced into commerce. The vast majority have never been properly tested for their cancer-causing potential, especially in combination with other chemicals. We're essentially conducting a massive experiment on human health, and the results are becoming increasingly clear. Consider this startling fact. The average person today carries over 700 synthetic chemicals in their blood and tissues. Our grandparents had virtually none. These chemicals come from everywhere: plastics, cosmetics, cleaning products, furniture, carpets, and even our clothing. Many of these substances are known endocrine disruptors, meaning they interfere with our hormone systems in ways that can trigger cancerous changes. The food system represents another massive shift that coincides perfectly with rising cancer rates. Ultra-processed foods now make up over half of the average American's diet. These aren't just convenience foods, they're chemical concoctions designed to be irresistible, loaded with preservatives, artificial colors, flavors, and textures that simply didn't exist in human diets until recently. What's particularly concerning is the way our food is produced. Industrial agriculture relies heavily on pesticides, herbicides, and fungicides. Glyphosate, the world's most widely used herbicide, has been classified as a probable human carcinogen by the World Health Organization. Yet it's sprayed on crops that end up in everything from breakfast cereals to bread. The residues accumulate in our bodies over time, and we're only beginning to understand the long-term consequences. Then there's the issue of our increasingly sedentary lifestyles, combined with chronic stress. Our ancestors moved constantly throughout the day and had natural rhythms of activity and rest. Today, many people spend 8 to 10 hours sitting, followed by several more hours of passive entertainment. This lack of movement affects everything from our immune function to our body's ability to repair cellular damage. Chronic stress floods our systems with cortisol and other stress hormones that can suppress immune function and promote inflammation. When this becomes a constant state rather than an occasional response to real threats, it creates an internal environment where cancer can more easily take hold and grow. The electromagnetic radiation in our environment has also increased exponentially. We're surrounded by Wi-Fi signals, cell phone towers, smart meters, and countless electronic devices. While the research is still developing, some studies suggest that constant exposure to electromagnetic fields might disrupt cellular repair mechanisms and potentially contribute to cancer development. Sleep disruption is another factor that's often overlooked. Our ancestors lived by natural light cycles, but today we're exposed to artificial light well into the evening hours. This disrupts melatonin production, and melatonin isn't just important for sleep, it's also a powerful antioxidant that helps protect against cancer. Night shift workers who experience chronic circadian rhythm disruption have significantly higher rates of several types of cancer. Air pollution has reached a crisis levels in many parts of the world, and even in areas with relatively clean air, we're exposed to particulate matter, ozone, and various toxic compounds that our lungs and bloodstream absorb. Fine particulate matter can penetrate deep into lung tissue and even cross into the bloodstream, carrying carcinogenic compounds throughout the body. Personal care products represent another source of daily chemical exposure that adds up over time. The average person uses dozens of personal care products daily, from shampoo and soap to deodorant and makeup. Many contain ingredients like parabens, phthalates, and formaldehyde-releasing compounds that have been linked to hormone disruption and cancer in laboratory studies. The pharmaceutical approach to health has also shifted dramatically. While medications can be life-saving, many people today take multiple prescription drugs for years or decades. Some medications, particularly hormone replacement therapies and certain blood pressure medications, have been associated with increased cancer risks. The long-term effects of taking multiple medications simultaneously are largely unknown. What makes the situation particularly challenging is that cancer typically develops over many years or even decades. The exposures happening today might not manifest as cancer until 20 or 30 years from now. This makes it extremely difficult to establish definitive cause and effect relationships, which is often used as an excuse to avoid taking precautionary action. The good news is that understanding these factors gives us power to make different choices. We can reduce our exposure to unnecessary chemicals by choosing organic foods when possible, using natural personal care products, filtering our water, and being more selective about the products we bring into our homes. We can prioritize movement throughout the day, manage stress through meditation or other practices, improve our sleep hygiene, and create environments that support our body's natural ability to prevent and repair cellular damage. The most important thing to remember is that while we can't control every environmental factor, we can control many of them. Small changes in multiple areas can add up to significant reductions in cancer risk over time. The rising cancer rates aren't inevitable. They're largely the result of choices we've made as a society about how we produce food, manufacture products, and structure our daily lives. By understanding these connections, we can start making different choices that support long-term health rather than undermining it. Your health is worth protecting, and knowledge is the first step towards making empowered decisions about your daily exposures and lifestyle choices.